Okay, so today we'll work with criteria queries. So how it is different? It is slightly provides you a far better performance than your query objects. So we are just going to understand the usage of this, right? So how we'll be able to work with them and how we'll be able to use the criteria object. So this is an interface from org.hibernate package. It is also representing a query execution against certain persistent object. So like the way you created query by saying session.create query, here you will be saying session.create criteria. That is going to provide you the criteria instance. So once you get the criteria instance, you will be able to invoke the list method, all that same as your query object, right? So let's start writing some examples, right? So we will take the same book example, publisher example, all that, so the same tables, and we'll start writing the create criteria objects in that, right? So I think Shrikanya was sharing the screen, so please share your screen, Shrikanya. I'm making you the presenter. We'll write all these criteria programs on your box. Okay, please launch your Eclipse. Oh, already launched. Good, good. Yeah. Go to com.training.sql package, whatever you created. Right. So there you can say right click on that and then new class with main method. Name it as criteria test 1. Criteria test 1. Okay, copy these things. So first of all we need to have the session object. Then we need to have the criteria object. Right? Import them. So session dot create criteria. So against which object we are creating the criteria? Against our book Pojo. Right? So that way yesterday you have seen some methods, like I believe it is your book price update. Can you go there? Book price update. Yes. So you can copy. Wait. Go to show books method. So you can copy from line 46 onwards. Copy line 46 to 55. Okay, so here it is not query.list, it is criteria.list. Copy that criteria variable from line 15. Double click on that variable. Double click on query, paste. Right, perfect. And then you need to say session.close, system.exit, all that you need to do. At the end of your if else block, after line 24, session.close, and then system.exit of 0. This is going to return you the same output as you are executing your HQL from class test, right? Save this and try to run this one. Let's see what is the output it is going to show you. It will be returning you all those books with ID, name, price, pub name, all that. So all the 10 books will get listed on your console. Right. So if you go there to no need of pgadmin tree, go to your HQL from test wherein we created a query object, and through the query object also we used to invoke the list method, and then it was returning us all those 10 books. So can you run that one? Yeah. See what is the difference? Here you are saying session.create query from book pojo, whereas here you are saying session.create criteria followed by that bookpojo.class. So you are mentioning the persistent class object there. Rest all remains same. Right? And one more thing that you need to observe, make the console bigger. It is executing all these Hibernate queries. I mean all these select statements. First select is against book table, then 5 more selects whenever you are invoking book.getPublisher.pubname, get pub name. Now go back to our criteria test one and try to run it. Maximize the console. It is not executing all those 6 select statements. Only one select statement got executed. Right? So that is how the performance is far better. Clear? So this is how we'll be able to write a criteria object which is equivalent to the from class of the query object. Then I would like to put some restrictions like the way where clause we used. So why do we use that where clause? To apply some condition we use that where clause. So here against your criteria object you wanted to put some restriction which is going to do the equivalent job of where clause. So let's see that. So just say file save as criteria test2. Right? Copy this one line of code after line 15. After line 15 you can paste this. So I would like to put some restriction there saying that price greater than $90. Restrictions.gt. GT means greater than. GE means greater than or equal to. EQ means equal. Right? So that's all. So here we are trying to mention GT price. So price is one of the properties that I declared in my book pojo object. So price comma 90.00. That is what the restriction I am trying to add it to my criteria object. Save this and run this. So this is going to return me the output. So it returns those 2 books whose price is more than $90. Right? So like this you will be able to use these restrictions thing. Got it? Then in our HQL we were using the order by clause to do the sorting of output so that you can get the ordered result set. Right? So that job will also be done by using your criteria. There is a method called add order. So using that add order method on your criteria object, it will bring you the sorted output. Okay. So save this program. Just say save as, file save as criteria test3. Yeah, comment that line 17 or remove that line 17. It is anyway there in your criteria test 2, right? So no need to comment here. Then copy these two lines after 16th line. So I would like to put some other restriction saying that restrictions like book name. So I wanted to list out all the action books, and those action books I would like to sort them in the order. So order dot descending of book name. What does it says? You have, can you go to the import statements? I think the wrong import has been done. Remove that line 5. Control D. Right. Press Control Shift O. You need to get the org.hibernate.criterion.order. Right. Finish. Save. So in this criteria test 3, we are putting a restriction to list out only the action books. Should be sorted in the descending order of the book name. Okay. Save this and then run this. Right. Got the output? Hibernate in action and then GWT in action. It is the sorting order descending. So if you say word order.asc, it will be in the ascending order, means GWT book should come first, then Hibernate book should go next. Instead of DESC, if you say ASC, order.asc, right, save it and try to run it, and you can observe that output. So this is how add order method we can use, and the order object we can use like the way restrictions are applied, right? Got the output? So like this we'll be able to use these ordering things. Then in our HQL thing, we wrote a join query, right? Similarly, here also we'll be able to build a criteria query based on some SQL joins. So how do we do that? Right? I mean, the ultimately generated output is going to be the SQL join. So how do we do that? So save as this one, criteria test 4. Okay. Then remove those two lines 17, 18 and 19 and paste these two lines. So my book Pojo class, I wanted to join it with the publisher object. So publisher is a private property we have in book Pojo. So get that publisher property as an alias object, saying that criteria.create alias publisher comma p, and then we would like to apply p.id as its restriction. Means I would like to join my book Pojo with publisher Pojo by equating the publisher ID value as 4. Means it is going to list me out all those books published by the publisher ID 4. Save it, run it, and let's try to understand the output there. Right? So you got the publisher ID 4 is nothing but your Tata McGraw-Hill, and if you observe that generated query, it is joining those two tables and it is producing that result, right? So this is how we'll be able to create the aliases also and got the output. Then there is one more concept here called example queries. Like org.hibernate.criterion.example object is there, which will be helpful to you to construct a query criterion from a given instance. Right? So how do we do that? Let's see that. So create a new class, save as criteria test 5. Okay. Then delete those two lines 18 and 19. And let us create one example object, book pojo. Instantiate that book pojo. Copy this one. We are saying that book pojo, book obj equal to new book pojo. And for that book pojo object, we are setting some price there as 89.99. Right? So we wanted to have our criteria same as this book obj. Copy this. One more line. So criteria dot add. I want to use this book obj as an example object. So I'll say example dot create book obj. Right? So this kind of querying is known as the example queries. Means I would like to retrieve all those books whose book price is 89.99. Clear? Make sense? Save it, run it. Let's see what is the output it is going to produce. What happened? Maximize the console. Connection is not able to get connected. Yeah, stop it and run it. Why there are no books with 89.99? That should be right. Okay, in that case, go there to your PG admin tree. Right click on the table book and then view the data of it. Go to public schema, tables, book table. Right click on the book table, view data, view all rows. Yeah, there are books. Why it is not? Just select that 89.99 wala book. 7 just make it $90 instead of 89.99. Make it 90. Right click and then edit. Right. 90.00. then save it. When close this one, it will ask you to save, or right, click that save icon, right, and close this edit grid, and then go back to your Eclipse and make it 90.00, the book obj set price. It should be 90.00. Let's see what will happen. Save it and run it. It should show you the output now. Hello? Am I audible now? For a while, my audio got disconnected, it seems. Yeah, fine. Sorry guys, sorry. Right. So, are you able to get the output? Right. So, 90.0 has given you the output. Okay, fine. No problem. So like this, we'll be able to use these example queries. Alright. And then, yeah, these are the major usages of our criteria queries. Okay, then comes some more things I want you to do are few examples. I mean, two exercises like. So I wanted you to write a query to do the comparison of date data type. So I want you to alter your book table by adding one more column there called as the published date when the book is published, and I want you to write a query to show all the books which are all published before 1st Jan 2016 or 1st Jan 2017, something like that, right? And also I want you to write one more program to have a criteria query there to do the comparison of double data type like book prices more than $50 and the books which are all published in the year 2016 or in the year 2015, like that. So not only one single condition, I want you to write the multiple conditions using your restrictions. So such kind of things I want you to do it on your own, right? And then here are a couple of links which will give you more exposure with respect to your criteria queries like dev articles as well as your criteria query documentation from jboss.org, right? So this way you can walk through and you'll be able to get to know more about that. And one quick walkthrough I would like to take you through one more PDF. So let me share my screen, which talks about the Hibernate architecture. So as you got some knowledge now, so you'll be able to understand these things pretty easily, right? So are you able to see my screen? So this is a pure theoretical discussion. Hibernate 4 PDF which I haven't shared it with you guys. So which is describing some theory. Like we know that object-oriented systems, relational databases are the two different worlds. To establish that mapping between these two different worlds of their own advantages, we came into this ORM tool usage, right? So that is what he is trying to explain you about all the problems that are faced by object-oriented systems and the database systems. So to address all these issues, ORM tool is required, object relational mapping tool, which will take care about all these things. So that way any complete ORM solution we are talking about that should deal with the basic CRUD functionality. We are done with that. Object oriented querying mechanism, yes, we did that. Transactions, yes, every transaction we used to begin, we used to commit, we used to close, all that. And metadata support means all your data types of database oriented are mapped to the appropriate data types of your string classes, double classes of your object oriented things, right? Persistence of objects, like how the object should be saved for the further usage, and the storage could be either an RDBMS or file system, all that, but majority of the things we did are RDBMS, no file system. And traditional solutions were the JDBC way of providing the solutions wherein your SQL lines of code will get embedded there within your Java program, and which requires lots of lines of coding and also dependency over the containers, right? So all these things got pretty well addressed by your ORM tool called Hibernate, which is also providing you the best practices so that all your persistence you are able to maintain through your classes. Right, so this is what your ORM, which is to be considered as a new solution. And all your Hibernate, Hibernate, JPA, all these things are to be considered as the ORM solutions. Right? And your Hibernate deals with transparent persistence, object querying capabilities, caching, supporting multiple databases, and it is all working with your POJO based models, right? So all that we are working. These many number of databases are supported by your Hibernate. The latest version is 5x, and this Hibernate is to be considered as the open source lightweight object relational mapping solution. Means it doesn't require any container to have. That is what called as a lightweight, right? So why do we go with Hibernate? Of course, you know all these reasons. And the architecture of this Hibernate looks like this. So your session factory, session, these things doesn't require any servers, any dependencies, all that. So they are all lightweight components. So this is your Hibernate thing. Hibernate is having a session factory. It is going to have the transaction factories, connection providers, which will come up with the connections. So these things are slightly binded onto the systems, right? So JNDI, some layers are needed. So through those layers, those connection providers are providing the appropriate connection objects, transaction objects, which are going based on them. Your session factory is going to be obtained. And once you get the session factory, you'll be able to create the sessions. And whatever the POJO classes you are accessing through the session, they are all to be considered as the persistent objects. And the ones which are not persistent things, they are all known as the transient objects, right? So that is how we'll be working with. And then this is what lightweight is basically to deal with the persistent activities, and the integrated mechanism is to deal with the caching, connection pooling, transactions, right? That's all. And one more thing you need to understand is about persistence lifecycle. So every persistence is having three different states: transient state, persistent state, and the detached state. So transient means it is nowhere associated with any DB table. Such components are to be considered as the non-transactional components. Persistent entity means it is an object which is mapped to the appropriate DB table and is also associated with the current session and is to be used as the transactional entity. Detached means it is no longer guaranteed that it is in sync with the DB component, DB database, right? So this is how. So as soon as you create any new object, just now we said book obj equal to new book Pojo. So it is a new component, it is transient. When we are trying to save that book obj by invoking save method or save or update method, that will automatically becomes a persistent object. Or if you are invoking session.get, session.load, session.find, session.iterate, any of these things, means all those objects are in association with that session, they are to be considered as the persistent objects, means they are in sync with your database. So if your database is carrying 100 rows, all those 100 rows you are able to access through the list object or set object, whichever you are accessing it through your session. And once you are closing your session, then that object becomes a detached object. So both these transient and detached objects are the eligible objects to be collected by the garbage. So GC is there, which is keep on grabbing all of them into the garbage collector. Whenever you are deleting any object, then that will become a transient object. If any object that is detached, if you are updating that object, then that will also become the persistent. So this is the main intention of walking you through this PDF, right? And the Hibernate features, of course, you are all aware of all these things, right? So one to one, one to many, all that we did. Caching, first level cache, second level cache, comparisons with the other architectures, all that. So books on Hibernate. Right, so just go through this, walk through this, and if you have any doubts, please do let me know so that I will try to help you out. Right, so with this, we are done with the Hibernate programming, and going forward, we'll try to understand the concepts of Spring Framework. It is our last topic, right? So hopefully, if we start on 2nd, means Jan 2nd, so by 10th, I believe we'll be able to complete. That means six classes in the next week, and then 2 or 3 more classes in that coming next week. So with that we'll be able to done. Okay, so that's all for now. So please go through all the links that are provided at the end of every PDF and practice as much as you can, and please do let me know if you have any issues. Okay, thank you guys. So we'll stop here for today, and we'll be meeting on Monday then. Right, thank you, wish you happy new year to all you guys, right? Chalo then. Okay, I'll be uploading these 2 PDFs of today's. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, see you on Monday. Yep, happy new year, happy new year.